Daily life in ancient Egypt is something that many people are interested in. From the pharaohs to the pyramids, there's a lot to learn about this ancient civilization. But what was daily life like for the average Egyptian? What did they eat, wear, and do for fun? Join us as we take a look back in time and find out what a typical day in the life of an ancient Egyptian might have been like. Ancient Egyptians kept their hair close to their heads to protect themselves from the sun. The women wore elaborate wigs made from human or animal hair, while men shaved their heads bald. They also used kohl, a type of eyeliner, to protect their eyes from the sun's glare. The ancient Egyptians kept busy during their leisure time. They enjoyed playing games such as senet, which resembled checkers, and enjoyed watching acrobats, musicians, and dancers perform. They also kept pets such as cats, dogs, and monkeys, and some wealthy Egyptians even owned zoos with exotic animals from across the kingdom. And just like today, some people were addicted to certain things. For example, the ancient Egyptians loved to gamble and would often bet on sporting events such as wrestling matches. They also enjoyed drinking beer, which was considered a healthy and necessary part of the diet. In fact, it was so popular that breweries were located all over the city, and taverns were scattered throughout the streets. Sound like a lot of fun, right? Well, it may have been, but don't forget, ancient Egypt was also a very religious place. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaoh was a god, and they had many other gods and goddesses that they worshipped. Every day, they would perform rituals and make offerings to the gods in order to keep them happy. This could involve burning incense, making sacrifices, or simply praying. Religion was a big part of life in ancient Egypt, and it's important to understand how it shaped the way people lived. But let's get back to our typical day in the life of an ancient Egyptian. Let's say that our protagonist is a scribe working in the palace. His day would start early in the morning, and after getting ready, he would take public transportation to work. At the time, there was no private ownership of cars, so scribes shared horse-drawn carriages with others in order to get around town. Once at the palace, the scribe would begin his work, which would include record-keeping, writing, and communicating with other officials. Scribes were highly respected in ancient Egyptian society because they were responsible for keeping track of important information, such as tax revenue and the movement of goods. It was a very important job, but it wasn't easy. Scribe training began at a young age and took years to complete. But those who finished training were rewarded with a prestigious career and a high social status. When the scribe finished his work for the day, he would take the public transit home again. On the way home, he might stop to buy some food, maybe some dates, figs, or bread. He would then head home and relax, perhaps taking a dip in the Nile River to cool off from the hot desert sun. He might also spend some time with his family, playing games or eating dinner together. Then it would be time to get ready for bed. The ancient Egyptians preferred to sleep during the night, so the scribe would crawl into bed with his wife and children, and they would go to sleep. And that's just one example of what daily life in ancient Egypt might have been like. Of course, everyone's life was different depending on their occupation and social class. But hopefully, this gives you a little insight into the world of the ancient Egyptians and what it might have been like to live in this fascinating civilization. Did you enjoy learning about daily life in ancient Egypt? Do you want to know more about the ancient world? Stay tuned for more videos on these fascinating civilizations. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.